Welcome to Penguin Podcasts, podcast number 3. Today, it's my turn to tell a story, and I'm going to tell a real-life story from my life. This is from quite a few years ago now. What year were you born, Colton?
2014?
Yeah, this was a year before you were born.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so this was in 2013. I was, at the time, in between jobs, and...
Yeah. Kind of like, I have a job, now I'm switching to another job. Now, this job, I'm not making very good money. I need to switch to another job, and then kind of doing like that.
Yeah, I was doing a little soul searching. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So my youth pastor from high school reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to speak at a retreat. So
What's a retreat?
It's a good question. So in this case, it was middle school kids, and they were kind of like getting together at this little camp called Camp Gormley. And the idea is they would come together, hang out, share life,
Nice.
kind of get away from day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, that'd be kind of nice, because then you don't have to have like all your daily life stuff on top of you and all the stress about like work and your job and stuff.
Yeah. But the catch was Jeff, the youth pastor, asked me if I would pretend to be homeless. And I don't know, did I tell you why he asked me to be homeless or pretend to be homeless?
I don't think so.
He wanted to kind of see what the youth group kids did, like see how they treated me. So at no point did I say that I was homeless, but what I did was we had made it so that I would park near the camp, and I would park just off the road, and I would get my truck sort of stuck in the ice. So I parked my truck off the road. I got there a little before them, and I looked a little rough. I didn't take a shower. I had dirt on my face, and I'm sitting there just kind of waiting. And I found a hatchet, like an axe that had been broken. So it's just kind of this hatchet on the side of the road.
Yeah.
So I stuck that in my truck, and I waited. And when they showed up, I said, "Hey, can you give me a hand? I'm stuck over here." So these high school kids, they came and they pushed my truck kind of in this area that isn't actually out of trouble. It's just sort of like further into the ice. And if they really thought about it, they'd probably think that it was kind of a strange situation. So anyway, they helped me, and I said thank you. And then they left. And right after they left, I walked up to the camp. And when I walked up to the camp, I'm looking around, and I didn't see anyone. So I got into their cabin, and I got into an empty bed. And I pretended to be asleep in my sleeping bag. So I'm laying in the sleeping bag for probably 5 minutes, and then finally a middle school kid shows up.
Right.
And can you imagine how you would feel if you saw some guy that you just helped on the side of the road in your cabin?
That'd be kind of creepy, honestly.
Honestly, kind of. Yeah, I think it is kind of creepy. So the kid was understandably kind of freaked out. And I said, "What's the deal with the light?" And he turned off the light, but then was nervous at the same time. So another kid came in with the youth pastor, and the youth pastor pretended like he was sort of being stern with me. And he was like, "You can't be doing this." And then we came to an agreement that I could stay.
Well, that's good.
So I spent the whole weekend hanging out with these kids, and I never once said I was homeless. The only thing I changed was my first name. So I told real life stories from my life.
But never once said you were homeless, and the kids are like, "Oh, this kid is probably not even that homeless."
Right. I was 23 at the time, so I probably didn't look that
homeless.
And maybe I didn't look that scary to them because I was younger.
Yeah.
So I spent the whole weekend with them, And they actually opened up and shared a lot about their life, which was kind of cool. And I got to know them and they got to know me. But at the end of the weekend, I was kind of tired. You know, I just spent this whole weekend with them. And I got in my truck and I was driving home. And I was almost to the Cheney.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Did you come clean with the kids?
Oh, I did. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a really important detail. I did tell them who I was. And one of the kids, I was friends with her brother. So she kind of,
really?
I think, knew. But she didn't know me that well. So I think she kind of didn't make the connection. But yes, I did come clean. But on the way home, I'm tired and I'm like ready to be home. And it was like a 2 or 3 hour drive. So I'm in.
Yeah, I would be ready to go home too.
Oh yeah, I was exhausted. So here's where it gets really crazy. So what happened was I'm driving in my little tiny GMC Sonoma. It's a little 2-door truck and it's a manual. And it can barely get 70. 80 would be on the very high end of what this little truck could do. It's just like a little putt-putt thing. And as I was changing lanes, I was in the left lane, turning to the right lane, and my back end kicked out, and I hit black ice.
Oh.
Have you ever hit black ice? Do you know what that's like?
Well, I think I stepped on black ice before. It's very, very slippery.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't really recommend doing it because I think I fell on my bottom.
That is basically what happened to me in my truck. I landed, I turned around, and I was terrified. I was so terrified.
Absolutely terrified.
Absolutely petrified. I was turning around, and I'm going 70 miles an hour, spinning, and I'm facing oncoming traffic. And I'm turning into the median, and I'm going sideways. And I'm going just, pretty fast toward a tree. And as I'm going toward the tree, I didn't know, but I accidentally called my wife. And she got a message, and I was groaning. I was like, and I didn't even realize I was doing that. And I look to my left, and I see a tree fast. It looks like the tree is coming at me. So I brace myself because I think, it's either going to hit the cab and it's going to bust my window, or it's going to hit the bed and it's going to puncture my gas tank. So I'm getting ready.
Or you might die, maybe?
I don't know. I didn't actually think that would happen, but it happened so fast. It felt like time slowed down, but I didn't expect to die, but I did think I would get hurt. And miraculously, it landed exactly between the cab and the bed. So it was this tree that was about 6 inches in diameter. And when I smushed onto it, it was like it got squished right between the cab and the bed. And it stopped, and I was just shocked that I wasn't hurt.
Yeah.
And I called my wife. She was so relieved that I was okay, but nervous that I was stuck or worried about me. So her and 2 of my other friends came and tried to find me. Well, right after I got off the phone with her, my phone died.
Oh, no.
So I'm sitting there thinking, what do I do? So I'm looking around. It's starting to snow more and more. And I'm looking, and no one's stopping.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Hold up. So you guys remember the hatchet earlier in the story, right? I want you to comment down below what you think Jeremy is going to do with anything in his truck. He has the hatchet, maybe some stuff in his glove box.
That's a good point. So I was thinking exactly what you're thinking. Do I wave someone down? Do I try to, solve this problem on my own? I slipped into the median, so I was like, well, I can't really walk toward the road because what if someone hits me?
Yeah.
So I think I'm in this on my own. So I got the hatchet that was kind of blunt. It was like rusty and kind of messed up. And I was like, I'm going to try to hack this tree down. I'm going to try to get out of this situation. So I go out the passenger side, kind of wiggle out of there, and I find the tree and I start hacking at it. trying to.
Wait, didn't you say that hatch was broken?
It was like kind of taped. Someone had taken like electric tape and it wrapped like 6 inches of the handle.
Jeez, that's a lot of.
There's a lot of electric tape. It was just holding this thing together with literal tape. I still have it, actually.
Wait, what? You do?
Yeah, but my friend put a new handle on it, so it's a full-size axe, and he like cleaned it up so it looks a lot better. I'll show it to you sometime.
Yeah.
So I take this little blunt, rusty hatchet and I start hacking at the tree.
Right.
And I actually was 70% of the way through. I was like almost all the way through the thing. And I was like, well, I'm almost through it. And a cop pulls over, stops and finds me. He said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm stuck. My phone is dead. I'm stuck on this tree. I thought I was on my own." And he was like, "Quit cutting that tree down." I was like, okay, officer, I'll stop. So I stopped. And right about at that time, my wife and my 2 friends found me in the median. So they pull over. They're trying to talk through what happened. And a tow truck pulls up. And they pull me out. And the tow truck guy says, "Well, do you want me to tow you all the way back to town, or do you want to drive?" And I was like, well, somehow my truck seems fine. I think I can drive it. It just had the driver's side door was wedged shut and the gas cap was broken. So I could drive the thing. So I drove it home. And I was completely
fine.
I didn't have whiplash. I wasn't even hurt. It was kind of incredible.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing was I had to pay $250 for the tow fee, and I got a $250 ticket for driving too fast for conditions. Can you believe that?
I can't believe that. But how fast were you driving? Do you remember?
I think it was under the speed limit. I think it was 65, but they say if you...
It's like 75.
I think it's 70 right there, but they tell you if you get into an accident, then you're driving too fast for conditions. So it's kind of my fault by the way they look at it.
Yeah. Well, that's it for today of Penguin Podcasts. Let's get some thank yous to Jeremy in the comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And just like and subscribe. Because we want to make this to a little community called Millwood. So
Thanks.
You could support that. Please subscribe to our channel. And we out.